Hello everyone, Atkpwr here with another deck building video for one of my favorite divisions, 8th Cavalry. If you guys enjoyed these, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and consider checking out the Patreon down below. And thank you to everyone who has or currently supporting me on there. Alrighty, folks. So, somehow this division was missed in the How to Play videos. Atkpwr, you fool. One of these beautiful Romanian divisions. Now, this division bears a striking similarity to 5th Cavalry, which came first. But it is different in some very key ways and plays, I would actually say, pretty differently than 5th Cav. There's a lot of different ways to build this one. There's options to play with here. And of course, I am building it in the lovely balanced income. I see a lot of people playing this in more aggressive incomes. Fine, it works that way, I guess. I don't care. Balanced. Balanced is the way to play. We grind our opponents into the dust. We crush them under hordes of Romanians. And the beautiful fun never ends. We take it to 60, 70, 80 minutes. We do not care. Now, this division, very strong infantry tab. An unvaried but very good recon tab. Tank tab, extremely limited. Support tab, really bad. The AT tab, phenomenal. AA tab, really good. RD tab, fantastic. Air tab, also really good. So, yeah, it's got some pretty big weaknesses and it's got some pretty great strengths. Both cavalry divisions, 5th and 8th, do have a lot of similarities, but there are some key differences, and we'll mention those as we go through here. So, recon tab here, we have the AB horses. At times I've played with having them in B. I do think you kind of need them in A. You can go either way, but the A phase armor cars tend to perform a little better before the opponent can really get out tons of AT and other weapons to counter them. Which is why they tend to perform best in A phase. And I mean, they're effective at every point in the game. But, as you get into the later phases of the game, opponents have more just stuff lying around that can kill these. More random tanks, more random AT guns, more infantry like Panzerschrecks, bazookas, and things. So their effectiveness does become more and more limited as the game goes on. And they can have a lot of effect in A phase, which is why I have them here in A phase. And then the rest of the recon tab is Kaidashi, which are a fabulous sniper squad, one of the OG sniper infantry squads. When these guys first came out with the Romanians, it was like, whoa, a full infantry squad with a sniper rifle? That's nuts. Oh, the times have changed. This is like baseline these days. If a unit's not walking around with a sniper and a machine gun, it's nothing to talk about. It's nothing to write home about. But yeah, this unit is great. We're doing 2 cards in A with 1 vet, a second card in B with 1 vet, and then we flood in with the unvetted card in C phase. I mean, it's 10 man. You have a sniper, 7 rifles, and a Panzerfaust along with 2 MP41s. The note that the rifles are all straight pull rifles, which are actually a little bit better than the standard like K98 rifle, which is a nice like little buff to just all the Romanian units that this rifle technically performs better. It's not semi-automatic level, but it's definitely like better than the straight pull of the bolt action of many of the factions. The other options here, motorcycle, no. R1, I mean, a double machine gun tankette can have use. I'm not going to say this unit is useless, but I definitely don't want to give up snipers to get these things. That would be my only argument about it. If there was extra points, I would actually consider this thing. It can be really obnoxious if used well, but they're not even like amazing machine guns on it. So yeah, the 2-man team here, you don't need it. You got snipers all over the place. The Lunatist is a 2-man sniper, but like it has lower availability than these guys, and they're just a 2-man team where they die pretty easily. I don't see why you wouldn't spend 10 points more to have a full infantry squad. And then this is just like I don't know, it's just like a small infantry squad. Again, I don't know why you'd ever take this over the Kaidashi. That's what it ends up being. It's fine as a little 5-man team with a Panzerfaust. Yeah, it's great. But I don't see any use for it when you have these here. Continuing into the infantry tab. So we do have some options here, and I do see this built a lot of different ways. So we're starting out with the Venatori de Garda leader here. The main reason being the radio. We actually really do need that radio. The RD in this deck can be really powerful with radio, so you definitely need it and you want it. Also, it is a double vet leader, which does make the veterancy circle bigger. It actually makes it affect more units. So for cost efficiency, this thing actually is the best leader here. The tough part is some of the other leaders have some better weapons. Specifically, this one has the Panzerschreck, and I do really, really appreciate this unit having a Panzerschreck. I can tell you from many times playing 5th Cav, and this is the leader I use in that one, it comes in clutch a lot. So not having it is a little sad, but the radio plus the double veterancy is what puts this one on top for me. It is also 10 points cheaper, which does matter, and has 1 more health than this one too. So there are a whole lot, 2 more, excuse me. There's a whole bunch of advantages for this one, but the Panzerschreck is extremely useful. So I can 100% understand someone taking this one. I don't really see the point of taking these other ones. If you're going to take these, I don't actually see why you would take these. There's literally no reason to take this just worse version of this ever. There's no reason. So it's really down between these two. Yeah, that's the leader discussion. Now we have 3 main types of units in this division, like to choose from. There are other ones, but like 3 main line infantry. We have the Roscioli, the good old classic from 5th Cav here, 10-man, Beretta, 7 rifles, 2 ZB30s, and the anti-tank grenade. Then we have the new unit here, which is like basically an upgraded Roscioli, where you have 4 submachine. We can compare them here. We have 4 submachine guns, 6 bolt action rifles, 2 automatic, ZB30s, and the grenade. Now, the Venatori da Garda has 2 more men, so that's a strong start. It gets fanatical, which is obviously a big upgrade. It has 4 submachine guns instead of 1, so it is putting out a lot more damage with those submachine guns. The rifle loadout is pretty noticeably worse. You're getting bolt actions instead of straight pulls, so your accuracy is naturally lower. Your rate of fire is a little bit lower. There's 1 less rifle, of course, as well. The ZBs are exactly the same, and the AT is exactly the same. The other big difference, though, is the veterancy curve, the availability here. The Roscioli just have more availability overall. Which is why I decided to put both the Venatori da Garda cards in A phase, because they're not CQC, but they can function a little bit as it. They're better. They're much better than your average line infantry at CQC because the ZB30s are automatic rifles and you get 4 submachine guns. So I do like this unit if you have to throw them into the woods. If you put them in B phase, you only get 12, or you can get 16 Roscioli. And remember, we're playing for the long game here with this balance deck. So I do find the difference in availability does matter in a lot of queue games, right? When we're hopping into the quick play queue or into the rank queue, which is why these are both in A. But I would definitely not fault anyone for putting one in B instead. I definitely wouldn't play Roscioli over these guys, though, because really at the end of the day, these are better than Roscioli. They just have a little less availability. Then your third option is Kaidashi Moto, and these are essentially better Panzergrens. They have a very similar loadout to Panzergrens, but they have a better submachine gun. Not that it makes a huge difference, but they have a better submachine gun. They have way better availability. That's the big win here. Instead of the usual 612, like 612, what is it? 612, 18 if you single vet in C phase. It's 8, 16, 21 with 1 vet, or 12, 24, 32. I mean, the availability is massive. It's great. So I definitely like having these units in here. So I just have the 1 card here in A with a single vet, which still gives you 9, which is only 1 less than an unvetted card of Panzergrens, which is pretty nuts. In A phase here, and then C phase, I'm bringing in the unvetted card to just pile on the pressure with these really strong long-range infantry. Finally, in A phase, we have the Roscioli Assault. These are your main CQC unit. Usually a unit this important I would put in B, but the thing is, this unit is not actually that great. From a cost standpoint, it's not that well costed. 30 points for a unit with no LMG, just a Molotov and 4 Berettas is really not that impressive in this day and age. I mean, if you look at the 30-point infantry, CQC infantry of most of the other top tier divisions, it's nowhere close. Nowhere close at all. Most 30-point infantry have double flamer or something like that. So this is kind of woefully below that bar, which is why I put them in A phase, because instead in B phase, I'm putting our other CQC card, which is the Pianeti Calati, and this unit is phenomenal. It is just a pioneer unit. Like, from that perspective, yeah, it's nothing special, but it's a full-on line infantry unit. Other than that, like 2 Berettas, 6 rifles, and 2 ZB30s, this thing actually puts out normal long-range damage really well. And the 2 Berettas and 2 ZB30s actually make it okay at fighting at CQC. It's not amazing, but it is okay, and it can actually, kill off units and stuff. It definitely beats any other non-CQC unit in the woods. So I'm actually bringing them unvetted because I want to make sure I have them going through B phase and into C phase. I don't want to be running out. Also, unvetting them does allow you to fall back a little bit faster when you're in those like pioneer on pioneer fights that maybe you can dodge the grenade. So that's why I unvetted these. B-phase then is Kaidashi here with 1 vet, still getting 16 of them. You could bring them in with 24 unvetted, but I feel like that's a little unnecessary and pushing your luck because you got to survive B-phase. So that's the infantry tab. I mean, truthfully, the other options are basically loading the deck up with Roshiori or Kaidashi Moto, depending on what you want. But I think this is a nice mix of all these. Because remember, the Kaidashi Moto are 30 points, so that's why I have them in C phase when you're getting the most number of points, and a little less so in like B phase and stuff. Tank tab, you don't have options here. You take the Terrans and you take the Zirnis. If you don't, you're building the deck wrong. You absolutely need both these units. Tron 2s are lovely. They're wonderful. It's a little sad that you can't spam them in this deck, but, you know, it is what it is. Great unit, HE damage. Make sure to turn off the AP shells basically all the time. The second this unit comes in, just turn the AP shells off. I know the heat is inaccurate, but it's much better than never penning with the AP shell. That's all there is to it. The Zirni is phenomenal. It is worth bringing it in 1 vet. It does increase the rate of fire and stuff pretty well. This is a great unit. This is an absolutely great unit. And this is what makes 8th Cav, I think, a little bit better from a well-rounded perspective than 5th Cav, is literally this unit. Because then you have now you have 2 KHE, you have a pretty well-armored unit that can actually kind of tank for like Shermans and allied armor in general. And its heat shell can wipe things out. So this unit is extremely good, really aggressively costed. Just an all-around excellent unit. Support tab, terrible. Just like 5th Cav's support tab is really not good. You have some terrible machine guns here in the Shvaloza. The ZB53 is very underwhelming. It's not bad per se, but it's not great either. The Hotchkiss, pretty solid. It's a poor man's 50 cal, or basically an Axis man's 50 cal. There's the Shvaloza. I mean, this is a spamming machine gun. That's what you do this, where you call 2, 3 at a time and just like throw them at something. I'm not a big fan of that strategy personally, which is why I don't bring them. You do not do the gendarmerie. There we go. There's absolutely no reason for these at all. You don't have disheartened troops in the deck. Commandant, yes, you want this. We're playing long. We want our infantry to slap hard, and they need veterancy to do that. So you definitely want the Commandant. You want to get this thing early if you can, possibly. Ammo, yes, you need this. We use 60 mil mortars aggressively. You need lots of ammo to be sure. There's really no other options here. It's just not a very good support tab. AT tab, on the other hand, is awesome. So you get the Venatori Dakota with the Panda Shrek, but they also come with a grenade and 5 submachine guns. Like, this is a legitimate CQC unit. Now, is it going to beat like flamer units? No, but it can definitely it can hold its own and do some good damage here. So yeah, great Panda Shrek unit in general. Could bring them in B phase to get 8, but that's a long time to wait for those. A little bit dangerous. Now, if you want to bring Panda Shreks and the Venatori, then I would definitely bring the Venatori in B, so you have them for the whole game kind of thing. Other than A phase, of course. Then you have a Pack 38 card. Pack 38s are phenomenal. They can trade up really well with their APCR and stuff. I love Pack 38s. I truly do. It's just like one of my favorite units in the game. Like, not one of my favorite non-special units in the game. Just a great AT piece. Nice availability. Then you have a Hetzer card. Jagdpanzer 38T. Yes, you absolutely must take these. There's absolutely no reason not to. Take them into 1 vet. No vet. They just suffer from performance issues if you take them in a no vet. The extra accuracy and everything does make these perform a lot better. They get a little bit higher rate of fire. They also happen to have an MG42 mounted. I'm not sure why this is like one of the only Axis units that actually is a mounted MG42. History buffs, go ahead and hit me up in the comments. Why? Why is the MG42 almost non-existent on every other vehicle, but this one gets it? I don't really know. Then, in B phase, we bring in our 45 mils. You could bring them in A as well, but the Pack 38 is kind of serving the same role, which is why I don't have them there. But yeah, 45 mils are actually one of the best units in the game. Price, availability, flexibility, this thing is excellent. It trades up basically on everything. And you don't mind losing it because it's 35 points. Absolutely phenomenal. Similar with the TACOM. This is just like a nice, spammy little AT tank you kind of run around. This is this 3-gun on here, so it's not anything special. It doesn't even have APCR. The HE damage is pretty good on it. It does have a little ZB35 here, which is an okay machine gun. Dies to everything, but can kill a lot of stuff too. It's worth calling these in pairs. You just have 2 of them, and if they pick up a kill, then you're getting a pretty good trade, generally speaking. And then we have the legendary Rashitsas. Now, you'll notice I'm bringing them in B and C. This is a very ballsy choice. I will say, if you do not feel like you can survive A phase, move the C phase card into A phase. That's absolutely a legitimate thing to do, and usually I would play it that way. But lately, every time I'm playing in the queue on balance, I'm playing freaking 50, 60-minute games, and Lord, do I want more of these things all the time. So I decided to shift the A phase card into C phase and really go all balanced all out here. Yeah, this thing is phenomenal. It's the workhorse of the deck. It keeps you alive in all situations. It's just a phenomenal AT piece. Extremely fast rate of fire at 15 rounds a minute. Good accuracy, 160 millimeters penetration. The HE gun is actually, like, the HE damage is actually very good. It really can actually chop down things. It's essentially your 2K support gun. You don't love it being used for that. It's also an RD piece, technically speaking, so it actually can do indirect fire mode as well. So don't forget that. Not that I really want this to be used as RD, generally speaking, but it can do it. And it does have 20 rounds, which is respectable for this kind of unit. It does fire slower on its HE when you're doing the indirect fire. And it also can fire smoke. Like, just on top of everything else, it fires smoke. Yeah, one of, if not the best AT gun in the game. Things we're leaving behind, more 45 mils. The Schneider. The Schneider is really unnecessary. I did totally forget to mention the support tab, the Breda gun. This thing is excellent. This is one of the only, like, shining things in the support tab. These are wonderful, and that's why I'm not bringing the Schneider, because I have the Breda's doing, like, essentially the exact same thing. Anti-air tab. We have two real options here, and the rest are kind of meh. 25 mil Hotchkiss is phenomenal. I actually do like having the truck with the machine gun on it. The Hotchkiss machine gun truck can help. Like, there's been many times where having that little truck there, that's like the clincher. It's the thing that, like, actually stops the plane at the last second and saves me from getting bombed, is this little truck. The other point of the little truck is that, A, you can move the AA pace if you really want to fast, but more importantly, it kind of distracts your opponent, because now they have to, like, if they're not watching closely, they can very much mess up which unit to fire at and to, like, try to kill with their AA, with their RD. So it is nice as a distraction unit. And for, what is it, 15 points? Yeah, 15 points. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth having that unit come in there. So yeah, Hotchkiss 25 mil, excellent little AA piece. You can only bring it in A, so you're going to bring it in an A. The Bofors, phenomenal. Bringing it in B, one vet here. Having your Bofors with one vet is pretty significant. It does make them perform a whole lot better. Yeah, this is enough, honestly. Like, if you're microing well, if you don't feel like you're gonna have enough AA, you can definitely bring a Vickers, and Vickers are extremely underwhelming, though. Like, they are not good AA pieces. Let me be very clear about this. They are not good AA pieces. They're actually better AT guns. I much prefer using this as an AT piece. I really do. But the thing is, you don't need more AT pieces. You have Rashitsas, and those are phenomenal. So, like, and yes, I know the argument is this does AA and AT, but it does such a bad job at AA. Like, essentially, it's a supporting AA piece for another AA piece. Like, that's what it's for. It's just not good. Like, I really want these to be good, but they're so bad. And they have utility. Again, they are good AT pieces, and it's AA. Like, any amount of AA is helpful, but don't buy one of these expecting it to do, like, solo. Like, it's not going to solo a part of the map for you at all. I think sometimes even JU's 87 and stuff get by this thing. It's really bad. So that's why I'm not bringing it. The RD tab. I see only one real option in this RD tab. Well, actually, I lied. There's a couple options here. So first off, 60 mil mortar. You absolutely want to take these. These are phenomenal. They fire very quick at 16 rounds a minute. They do okay damage. Don't expect them to kill much. Their point is to suppress. They're to make everything your opponent does more difficult to do. They're kind of like the 50 mil mortar, but they actually have some range to them. And then, of course, they don't fire nearly as fast or as accurately, but they are a phenomenal unit, and you're probably doing this wrong if you don't use these. Then, the Romanian 100 mil. These guys are fantastic. Just an incredibly good piece of artillery. Not super high damage, but this right here, that is the rate of fire. 10 rounds a minute with this one vet. You want one vet. It is 100% worth losing one availability in A and two availability in B to get these things firing at 10 rounds a minute. There is no other RD piece in the game that fires this fast. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but RD at 100 millimeters, I should say 100 millimeter artillery. I don't think there's any gun that comes close to this in the game. It's just great. It's just absolutely great. This thing will chop down stuff so quickly. It's one of the reasons to play this division is this excellent artillery piece. So A and B phase. A phase, no ammo because I need to savor my points and ammo in B phase, so I actually have ammo. Then bringing the arty leader can buff these guys up even more, or just use them as regular leadership. Don't need the 81 mil mortars. We have 60 mil mortars, which are not the same thing, but we don't need it. The 75 mil is a very real consideration. It does fire very fast at 12 rounds a minute. It's actually firing basically at mortar speed, but with infinite range. So that's definitely a big plus. Now, it's terrible at shooting stuff all the way across the map. I would not use it for that. But essentially, it's like a flexible mortar that can, really cover a lot of ground. It is good. It's got radio too. So this is a good unit. I'm not bringing it because I prefer the 100 mils, but this is definitely a very strong unit and a contender for putting in your deck. 120 mil mortars, not that great. And the 105, this isn't even like a attack power hating on off map thing. This is not a very good off map. It's a very low caliber. You only get one of them in A. 90 points is very aggressively costed, but that's because it's really not that good of an off map. It pins stuff. That's essentially all it does. It pins things. You do get 4 strikes of it, so that from that respect, it's pretty good. But yeah, I won't use it ever from a personal standpoint, but I actually don't think it's like an incredibly good off map. Air tab. Lots of good options here. But me personally, I like the way I have it built. HS-129, good recon plane, can do some strafing here. The guns they're not like crushingly powerful, but they cause 2 or 3 damage on a run. The duck is pretty slow. So yeah, it's got very good resilience, okay speed. It does work. It does work as a recon plane. I definitely prefer it over the JU because for 10 points more, you actually have a plane that can strafe. And otherwise it's not that much slower. So I don't see any reason not to just take a plane that actually has weaponry. JU-87 in A, HS-129 clusters in B. Yes, I actually do use this many clusters in my game before people ask me. If I'm using a cluster bomber, I'm expecting it to die. It's essentially always a suicide run in my mind. Because any good player who has a tank that is worth killing with a cluster plane, they're going to have AA around it. It's very rare that I'm playing a good player who's just letting their tank get cluster planed. So essentially, it's probably a suicide plane, which is why I'm bringing 7 of them, because they do die. They die a lot. B phase, BF-109s, I am holding off till B phase to bring in my fighter, because 2 of them, to me, is really low. I get really scared, especially playing a balanced deck, looking to play really long in the quick play queue. I need enough fighters to get through the game. They do tend to die. They have bad resilience. It's a good fighter otherwise, 600 km an hour, a nice speed, good gun load out here. But they do die, so I definitely want 4. And I think I can get through A phase with just the Hotchkisses. They're a solid AA piece. I can generally get by. And then C phase, bringing the JU-88. Good bomber here. Nice loadout. Goes pretty fast, especially once it drops its bomb loadout. 6 availability, 110 points. Not too bad. Your other options here, JU-87s. I've talked about JU-87s many times. I don't like that they're kind of useless after A phase. So I don't see them worth taking. Now, if you really want bombers, then fine. Take out one of the cluster cards and put one of these bombers in. HS-129, the bomb loadout is too small and it's too slow. It's too easy to stop this plane and it's too expensive for what it gives you. Like, if I'm going to take this, I'm just going to take a JU-87 instead. The bomb loadout is significantly better. And this thing is so slow. It gets stopped like the JU-87s get stopped usually. And the JU-88A4 is too expensive for its loadout. Getting 16 more 50 kilograms bombs is not worth the increase in price. This thing, the 110, the medium one, the lighter one here, will kill things about as consistently as the other one will. So I don't see it worth being brought. Also, this is lower availability on top of everything else. So 8th Cavalry. This is how I build it. This is how balanced attack power, grind to the ends of the earth builds it. Love this deck. Love this division. It's good stuff, fun to play, and you should definitely give it a try. If you guys enjoyed this, do all the stuff, and make sure to go check out some more Steel Division 2 videos, CAS, or how to play videos. It's all there for you. Become awesome or watch other people be awesome. Thanks a bunch, guys, and have a fantastic day.